Section 13 on the website is dedicated to electrical. And it's one thing I'm really comfortable with since I taught electronics technology for more than 30 years. And this seems to be the part of the van build most people are concerned with. And it's nothing to be afraid of. We have step-by-step videos on the website for setting up your electrical. And it's really not that difficult. The two key things are, be sure you use the correct wire size and be sure that you use the proper fuses. And you can look at my wire size video and that'll truly help you out. You should use lithium batteries. These batteries have become better over the years. More compact, higher amp hours with better features. And one of the key features is Bluetooth monitoring. It's excellent. This allows you to know directly from the battery's BMS the percentage of charge. This is awesome and a more accurate way than a battery monitor. I have some batteries with the Bluetooth monitoring, and I also have a battery monitor from Victron. I love them both, but the ones that have the Bluetooth battery monitor built in that I can look on my phone are much better. Now, if you've watched Will Prowse, you'll know that some of the batteries, when they're connected together, the BMSs don't get along and they don't work properly because one of the batteries might not charge completely. Sometimes those two batteries might only charge halfway. So to eliminate that problem altogether, I installed my batteries in separate battery banks. Each one of my batteries has a switch on and off so that I can turn them on and off one at a time. So if I needed to, I could charge them all together. But if one of them wasn't fully charging itself, I could shut all the batteries off and then just charge that one independently. It provides me with more control, and I can easily know when I'm running low on power. Also, if I leave something on and one battery gets fully depleted, or there's something wrong with the battery, I can easily flip a switch and use a different battery. For the past year, this has worked out really well. And what I tend to do is alternate between battery banks. It's a really good system for me, so I recommend looking into that. And as I said, I've added batteries over the years. Technology keeps changing. 6 years ago, none of the batteries had Bluetooth monitoring. So that didn't even exist. So when you build your van, I recommend you leave room to install another battery in the future because the technology will change and you'll probably want that new one with the new features. Currently, we have a little over 900 amp hours of battery power, much more than we need. That's about 300 amp hours in each one of the battery banks. We just added a 314 amp hour battery a few months ago because we're planning on going on a very long journey. And in preparation for that, we wanted to be sure we didn't need any extra power because we might run the air conditioner more and we'll be running the water heater more, taking more showers in the van. And those are the two big draws of power in our van build. You also have to remember, we don't go to campgrounds often, so we're not plugging in and using shore power to charge up. Most of our charging happens through our DC to DC charger as we're driving and our solar. In your travels, if you're going to a campground pretty much every night, having 200 amp hours might be good enough. If you're driving like 4 hours a day and you have a DC to DC charger, you may provide yourself with more power in that 4-hour drive than you used the day before. Now, like I said, the highest draw on our electrical system is our hot water heater and our portable air conditioner. Now, the air conditioner is seldom used, and when we do use it, we only use it on really hot days at night so that we can sleep better. So really, it's the hot water heater that draws the most power. Now, no matter what anybody suggests to you, whatever a YouTube video might say, you're really not going to know your true power needs until you get out there and start traveling, because your needs are going to be different than anyone else's. So I would say start out with a 300 amp hour battery and have room for one or two more, and you should be good to go. Now, some people are using these Goal Zero or Jackery battery banks, these portable power systems, and those are great, but for our use, they're really too small. You'll see that they have ratings like 1800 watt hours. Well, if you want to convert watt hours to amp hours, you have to divide by the voltage. And in this case, that would be 12 volts. So 1800 divided by 12 is only 150 amp hours. That might be okay to start, but if you're boondocking and traveling the way we are, it's definitely not going to be enough. Now, in the future, as these portable power bank systems mature and expand, they might become the thing to use. But one of the problems with them that I have is that it's all in one. And if any one thing breaks in there, I'm completely done. I can't replace just one little part. Where I can change my inverter, I can change my solar charge controller. You know, they're separate components, and I like that. But like I said, technology is always changing. By the time you watch this video, there might be a system that's better than the individual components. When you're doing your electrical, we're going to be attaching some of these lugs to a bus bar. Is when you're buying your lugs, you're going to see the copper lugs like this, and then you're going to see these lugs that are tinned already. I recommend you get the ones that are already tinned because they will weather much better. These might eventually turn green on you, right? On this one here, I actually drilled a hole right here because you'll see in the video where I make lugs, I end up putting solder down here after I've used my hammer crimper, because the idea is to reduce resistance as much as possible, because any place that there's resistance in your system is where there's a heat buildup, and that is not a good idea. So we want to reduce resistance throughout the entire electrical system. Another excellent thing to do is to use clear heat shrink tubing. And using the clear heat shrink tubing, you can use a label maker and make a label for where these cables actually go. Put the heat shrink tubing over the label and heat shrink it, and then it's never going to peel off. That'll make it permanent and nice and neat, and somewhere along the line, when you have to trace down wiring, it'll be easy to know what each wire is for. So I hope this video has helped you out. Please do me a favor, if it has, click the like button, use our links, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. All of those are completely free. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.
I wanna find freedom faster before the daylight turns to gray. I wanna find freedom faster and spend it all on today. It's not a race to the finish line, it's just the comfort of your hand in mine. Yeah, we're gonna find freedom faster.